Okay, English 101, week 13, part 1. And this is the spring of 2021. Okay, guys, this is it. We have officially reached the final lecture in the course, which is crazy if you've watched this many lectures, but this is it. This is the last one. I don't even know if it's going to go all 12 pieces. We'll see. Maybe we'll be done faster. I have no idea. But this is because I'm going to run out of material this lecture. So if I get it done early, we'll stop. It probably won't. Don't get your hopes up. It's not going to get done early. I'll always find something to say. So just to review real quick, so this unit is unit 1, 2, and 3 are all about Plato. Essays 1, 2, and 3 all about Plato. And by the way, by May 17th, if you haven't done paper 1, 2, and 3, get it to me by May 17th. If you haven't done the revisions on paper 1, 2, and 3, and you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to do revisions on paper 1, 2, and 3 to raise your grade, get it to me by May 17th. And discussion boards. I need 20 substantial discussion board comments by May 17th. What makes it substantial? You got to have your opinion backed up by a reason with an example. And it's got to be, related to the lectures in some way. So it could be, something Plato related or my lecture related. You can't just have random thoughts in there. Anyway, get that to you by May 17th. I'm pretty forgiving about my only penalty for late papers is I'm not giving you an A on a late paper. But other than that, you're good. So I'm not one of these professors that refuses to read late papers. Anyway, now we're in unit 4. It's the final unit. It's a final lecture. Holy shit! End of the class. If you watched all of these, holy shit. For all my students, by the way, all my classes, all my students, I filmed about 100 hours of lecture, which is insane. So units 1, 2, and 3 were all about Plato. Paper 1, 2, and 3 were all about Plato. Paper 4 is different. Paper 4 is about Walker and Smith. These are Zadie Smith and Karen Walker. You have those essays in the Unit 4 folder. They have nothing to do with Plato. I mean, they have a little bit to do with Plato because Plato's about love and this is about fear and joy. So it's a whole unit about emotions. The whole semester has been about emotions and the value of emotions and rethinking emotions. So paper 4 is not designed by me. It's designed by the English department. It will appear in Blackboard around May 17th. You'll have 3 days to do it, probably. I'll let you know details about that when I know. And I'll email you when it's available on Blackboard and let you know that it's there. And you can't be late because I'm not making this exam. So you have to get it done in the window of however many days they say you have to do it in. You don't have to do it all in one go. You can take a break and come back and work on it more. But there's a 3-day period where you've got to get it done in there somewhere. Cool. For that paper, for that final paper, you're going to be asked a question, probably going to have something to do with emotions, and you're going to answer the question. You're going to, anyway, make sure each paragraph you write connects back to the question you're asked. You're going to be asked 3 questions, but you're only going to answer 1. Don't answer 3. Every semester I get somebody who answers all 3 of them. Don't do that. Read the directions. 1. And somewhere in your essay, you're going to need at least once to quote and discuss Smith, and somewhere in there, at least once, you're going to have to quote and discuss Walker. Don't answer all 3 questions, only answer 1, or don't answer all 3 prompts, only answer 1, whatever they, and also make sure you quote both Smith and Walker in the essay. Every semester, somebody just quotes one of them, and they get a D or an F. Don't be that person. Just make sure you quote and discuss both of them. Now, they have essays about emotions, which means you can expect to be asked questions about emotions. They're asking your opinion on something, and you're going to use Smith and Walker to back up your point. You could say, I think this, and Smith would agree with me, and also blah, 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 and quotes and examples and all this stuff. And then you can say, Walker would also agree with me, blah, blah, or you can say, Smith would agree with me and Walker would disagree with me, or you can say, Smith says this and Walker says this, and I think this. Lots of ways to do it. Got to be at least 500 words. Okay, so that's it for that quick review on that. It's just really important. Every semester, students hate reading instructions, and I get it. I get little iTunes terms and conditions, and they're like, do you agree to these terms and conditions? Or you go to the doctor's office, and they're like, sign this piece of paper. I don't read the whole fucking paper. Who the hell has time to read the whole fucking paper? But instructions at the top of an essay, if you're not going to read them, I would not expect to do well. Up to you. I recommend reading them. Okay, so all we have to do today is get through Walker. No, we already did Walker. All we have to do today is get through Smith. So it's about 5 pages long. I think it may be less than, maybe 4.5, 5 pages. Let's see. It's like 4.5 pages long. So all we have to do is get through Walker, and I'm going to read the whole thing and stop and discuss stuff. And then, I'm sorry, I keep saying Walker, Smith. All we have to do today is get through 4.5 pages of Smith, and then we are done for the goddamn semester. You'll have time. There's going to be some time between this lecture and you're taking paper 4. So you have time to read Smith, reread Smith, underline things you think are important, make comments in the discussion board, ask me questions about it, look up vocabulary words. All of this will help you with paper 4, which is the departmental final. There will be no Plato on the departmental final. It's not that kind of final. It's not a final that's about the whole semester. It's really just about this unit. Because I know it feels like this was a whole class about Plato, but it actually wasn't supposed to be. It's a class about how to quote and discuss quotes. So in that sense, it's a final because you're going to quote and discuss quotes. It's just that what they want you to use is Smith and Walker, and what I wanted you to use was Plato. So that's why paper 1, 2, and 3 are about Plato, and paper 4 is about Smith and Walker, because I don't get to design paper 4. Okay, so all we have to do is go through this. Now, for starters, I will tell you, Walker is about fear and Smith is about joy. With Walker, I recommended you get on the discussion board and talk about what kind of things you fear and why, whether you should, which one of your fears are rational, which one of your fears are helpful, and which one of your fears are useless, and which one of your fears are damaging, and which one of your fears you shouldn't be afraid of. Same thing here. Smith has got an essay here about joy and also about pleasure. Now, normally we think about pleasure and joy as being sort of the same thing. Smith doesn't think they're the same thing, and she's going to talk about why. So we're going to get into Smith, but it's worth thinking about your own examples of things that bring you pleasure and things that bring you joy. But before you do that, you're going to want to know what Smith thinks is the difference between joy and pleasure. She doesn't come right out and say it. What the difference is, which I find really annoying. I can figure out what the difference is, and I know what the difference is, but she is not. I would not have picked these essays. I don't know. They're okay. I actually don't hate them, and we've had a hell of a lot worse. So it's actually a pretty good semester because they're actually pretty good. I don't love them, but they're okay. They're better than usual. So let's go through what Smith has to say about joy and pleasure, and we will move forward. All right, here we go. And I'll try to get all the vocabulary, but if I don't get it, you got to get it. Okay. Cool. Joy by Zadie Smith. It might be useful to distinguish between pleasure and joy. So she thinks there's a difference between the two. But maybe everybody does this very easily all the time, and only I am confused. A lot of people seem to feel that joy is only the most intense version of pleasure, arrived at by the same road. You simply have to go a little further down the track. That has not been my experience. And if you asked me if I wanted more joyful experiences in my life, I wouldn't be at all sure I did exactly. I wouldn't be sure I did exactly, because it proves such a difficult emotion to manage. It's not at all obvious to me how we should make an accommodation between joy and the rest of our everyday lives. Well, this is strange. We usually think about joy and pleasure as being. She's right. She says a lot of people seem to think that joy and pleasure is the same thing. That what is joy? A lot of pleasure. That's usually how people kind of describe it. So that something can be fun, but if it's like really fun, you experience joy. She thinks joy and pleasure are quite different, and that's really what her essay is about. Both of these essays, Walker and Smith, take an emotion. Smith takes fear, and Walker takes fear, and Smith takes joy. And you think you know that fear is stupid and you should never be afraid, and you think joy and pleasure are the same thing, and each author goes, I don't know if this is really right. And Socrates does the same thing with love, where you think you know what love is, and Socrates has a crazy definition of love involving the gods and reincarnation and a road to philosophy and all of this shit. So anyway, we're going to look at the difference between joy and pleasure and Zadie Smith in this series of lectures. See you in the next video.